Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I think there's so much evil going on in the world. There's so many people getting sick, so many bad news, that it's so easy for us to just get discouraged and just feel lonely. But I think the Lord wants to remind all of us that we are never alone, that He is always with us, and He always watches over us. A few years ago, when I was a high school teacher, one of my students stopped by in my classroom during one of his free periods, and it happened to be my lunch break. And he was overwhelmed, and he was sharing with me the work that he had to do, and it was just too much. After I listened to him, I invited him to stop by the chapel and spend a few minutes with the Lord. After I listened to him, I invited him to stop by the chapel and just to spend a few minutes with the Lord, pour out his heart to Him, and just be with the Lord. I remember Paul asking me if I believe if God had created the universe, and that the universe was huge with all the planets, the stars, everything that's in it. And I responded yes. And he says, do you believe He created also human being and animals and plants? And my response was positive. Then he said, do you think that the God of the universe who created all of that, and he made a big sign, like all of that, has time for me now, little Polly? And my response for him was a yes, an affirmative yes. Yes, God has time for you and for me and for little Polly and for each one of us. We are not lost on Him. He cares about us. He wants to be in our life. In John 15:15, we hear Him say to us, I have called you my friends. Friends care about each other. Friends want to know about their sorrows and their joys and the frustration of each other. And that's what the Lord wants. The Lord speaks to us through the Bible. He says so many encouraging, inspiring words to us. The problem is we're the one who don't open the Bible often to listen to Him. In Isaiah, He says, can a mother forget her infant, be without tenderness for the child of her womb? Even should she forget, I will never forget you. The Lord is saying He will never forget us. He will always be with us. He even adds, see, upon the palms of my hands I have written your name. How comforting it is that the Lord has my name, your name, each one of us' name on the palm of His hand, which means He's always thinking about us. He's always watching over us. My father always used to tell me, whenever we're talking about evil and how evil is spreading, remember, you have a Father who is watching over His flock, who is shepherding His people. Yes, the Lord is my shepherd. There is nothing I shall want. Today, this was the responsorial psalm at Mass. And it's so beautiful. It's one of my favorite psalms. I remember a few years ago we had some trouble coming back from Lebanon, and it was a hassle trying to rebook and figure out what's going on. And Peter, who would be really agitated by those things, he kept singing, the Lord is my shepherd, which calmed him down, and by God's grace everything was resolved. We need to remind ourselves that we're loved beyond measure, that He's watching over us, that we need to trust Him. We need to let Him be the captain of our boat. We need to let Him shepherd us, to let Him lead us. We need to know that we are never alone. He told us we're going to face trouble. He has conquered, and He promised He will be with us until the end of the time. Do not let the pandemic or the election or any cross you're carrying, or the division, the hatred in our nation, or the evil that is spreading, make you doubt His love for you. He loves you, and He cares about you. And He wants you to put your trust in Him, not in fallen creatures, but in Him. And when you feel lonely, just realize He is there. You are never alone. Remember the story of the footprints? The guy who was telling God that you were always with me, and when I needed you so much, I was alone. And the Lord reminded him of the 4 footprints. When everything was going well, the Lord was walking by his side. But when things got more difficult, there were only 2 footprints, because that's when the Lord carried him. And the Lord is carrying you whenever you need Him. I want to conclude my day. The Lord says, Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the water, I will be with you. In the rivers you shall not drown. When you walk through fire, you shall not be burned. The flames shall not consume you. You are precious in my eyes and honored because I love you. What else do we need? If God Himself is saying to you and to me that we are precious in His eyes and that He loves us, why do we need to worry about anything? Maybe we need to turn off the TV more often and spend time with Him, at least 15 minutes a day, trying to read the good news of His love for each one of us. Meditate on it. Let it sink in. Let it strengthen us. Let it transform us. Let it prepare us for eternity. Because that's what matters, our salvation. Let us not waste time. Remember, you are loved beyond measure. You are precious. Do not be discouraged. Do not be afraid. Renew your trust in the Lord. He's waiting for you. He has a plan for you. And His plan is your holiness, to be with Him for eternity. One day, let us go to Him. Let us open our hearts to receive His love. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.